Oh,
Hey, I just want to welcome Ace. How are you doing, mate?
How are you, Siki? Good and doing well,
I
mate.
am I am very well, thank you, sir. Good to see you again, man.
Hello, V. How you going?
hi, Ace. Good and you?
Very well, thank you. I'm
Nopia,
just going to keep this on mute, mate. My office is a bit loud today.
that's okay. That's all good, man. Nopia, how are you? Can you hear
I'm
me
good.
okay?
I'm good. How are you? Yes, I can hear you.
All
Hi,
right,
Nopia.
beautiful,
Hey, how are you,
beautiful.
V?
I'm good, thank you. I feel a little bit very new in this, but very excited to uncover everything today, to discover what we're doing.
Yeah,
Oh,
really excited.
beautiful. Albert, good to see you again. How are you doing?
Hi,
Awesome.
hi,
Well,
Albert.
thanks. Hi, everyone.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. All right, share in the team chat. Where are you dialing in? Oh, who's iPhone 12? iPhone 1 and 2, sorry. Who is iPhone 1 and 2? We'll let them in. And my note taker just coming in as well. How are you doing, Albert? Busy day today?
It's always busy.
All
Yep.
right, beautiful. We'll wait for a few minutes, but in the meantime, type in the chat, use the chat to contribute and to converse. Where are you dialing in from today? And who do we have as well? Paradise, Kuperu. New Zealand. Beautiful. We have the furthest one. V, thank you for dialing in. What time is it there? 2 o'clock? 3 o'clock?
It's 2 o'clock.
Ah, okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. And I'm not sure who is. We have iPhone 1 in bracket 2. Who do we have? Can you hear us okay?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Siddiqui,
Okay.
yes, I can hear you.
Who am I speaking?
It's Imran.
Imran. Mashallah.
Yes.
Good to see you.
Sorry, don't know how to change the number, the name thing. I'll get to it one day.
That's so good. That's so good. All right. I am just going to add in everyone else. We will kickstart at 12:05 on the dot. Hi, Hazel. Good to see you. Thank you for dialing in, joining in. Justin, welcome. Good to see you. Hazel, type in the chat where you're dialing in from. And Justin as well, type in the chat where you're dialing in. Thank you very much, everyone, for dialing in today. Appreciate you all. Do you have your lunch? Do you have your coffee? This is a lunch and learn kind of thing. So I want to make sure that you guys have quite a. What is that one? Is it a chocolate, Albert? Oh, I love that.
Just some muesli bar. Pretty,
Yeah,
pretty basic.
that's my favorite. All right, Justin in Bundy, Queensland, Bundaberg.
Yeah, man.
Hazel from BNI Brown Plains. Thank you, Hazel. All dialing in. Ace as well is from BNI. So perhaps you can chat later on as well to do a one-on-one and then log it in.
Always happy to get some stats up, Siki.
Increase our stats, man. All right. Beautiful. I'm going to share my screen very soon and then we'll kick off. Now, also type in a chat in terms of your what are you looking for from our conversation today? What makes you interested and registered for this conversation? Type in the chat. I'm curious to know. Or you can also jump on the audio and share.
I will just share, seeing that I'm struggling to type sponge. I just feel like such a sponge just to absorb information. So
Okay.
I have no specific idea of what to learn, just to learn.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much, V. Appreciate you coming in to learn. Beautiful. Who else is joining in? Because they want to learn something and take away something, and they want to do something that is in their journey as a leader. Beautiful. Belinda, Justin. Awesome. Belinda, how are you?
I'm well,
And
thanks.
Hazel as well. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Belinda, type in the chat where you're dialing in from, and then we'll kick off. Here to learn and grow. Beautiful. I'm here to learn and grow as well. Feels like I'm um a little plant. Anthony. All right, Anthony is dialing in. Belinda in Sydney. Beautiful, growing as a leader.
Cynthia, how you going?
Hey, Anthony, good to see you, mate.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, mate.
Strange.
Can you hear me okay? Can you see me okay?
Okay, so you connected to my headphones. I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
All right. Thank you. I love your chessboard, by the way, Sidki. Thank you, Hazel. I love it. I found it on Amazon. I was like, oh my God, that looks so awesome. I need to get one. Do you play chess too, Hazel? Online. Oh, okay. Nice. All right. 12:05. Here we go. We kick it off. Now, again, thank you everyone for jumping in today to the conversation that we're going to have about redefining leadership for culturally and linguistically diverse leaders and professionals. Now, the conversations are obviously targeted for cult leaders. However, the content that we're going to go through is applicable to everyone in leadership positions. Now, what I mean by leadership position is not necessarily you need to become a manager, business owners, senior managers, whatever that may be, right? Because leaders is not only about those who have the title, because essentially leaders are the one who are taking their responsibility to develop themselves in their journey in life, right? Now, who can appreciate that definition that leaders are not by title, but leaders are the one who take responsibility in their life to take ownership to become the better version of themselves, so they can show up in the most beautiful, in the most inspiring way to the people that they lead, whether that's personal in terms of families, spouse, children, whether that's also in professional context, right? So yes, I agree that, Justin, we lead by example. So this is the first step. But specifically for cult leaders, for culturally and linguistically diverse leaders, that we tend to feel we are highly invisible in the way that we integrate in the workplace, right? And how we can take ownership to become to move from invincible to become influential, right? Who wants to be an influential leader in this room, whether you're called or non-called? Beautiful, amazing. I love that. I'm going to share a screen and then we'll move forward from there. And again, this conversation is not a monologue, so feel free to jump in on your voice, and also to jump in on chat as well to share whatever that you have insights on and all that. Yeah, because I am here to serve you. I'm here not to serve me, just to transmitting knowledge that I know, right? But I'm here to serve you and support you in whatever the challenges or the journey that you are in as a leader. So this is not a monologue. This is a dialogue and a conversation. Yeah, who can appreciate that? Yeah?
Yes.
Awesome. Now, can you see my screen at all? Do I need to make it bigger? All good?
Good.
Looks good.
All right. Awesome. So I would like to welcome you again for making that time and space to be here today. Now, for many of us, making the space in our busyness, it's become a rarity because we continuously doing the doing. We continuously building things. We continuously building the business that we have, the leadership that we have, whatever it is may be, right? We're continuously running. However, we tend to not appreciating to take the time and space just to be and just to learn, right? Because we are here to learn. Because if we continuously pushing ourselves, it's like a car that we continuously pushing to 110 k's an hour. But then when there's a traffic jam up ahead, we don't slow down. Then we're going to have an accident, and that's not ideal, right? So we begin with setting the standards. This is our conversation standard within the growth table. We approach every conversation with curiosity, right? So any conversations, any insights, etc., that is being contributed by anyone in this room, we approach it by curiosity. Why curiosity instead of what's the opposite of curiosity? Anyone would like to give a go? Instead of judgment, instead of coming with a certain bias. Now, the intention for this 1 hour, so then you can bring in curiosity when you talk to your team members, when you talk to your clients, whomever that may be, because this is a practice run for you to be curious with every single conversation that you have, right? The second piece is courage. Courage is not an absence of fear, right? Fear is always going to be there. But courage is when you are coming across with one piece of challenges in life that you feel like, oh my God, I need to take a step back. I need to go back into my whatever it is, your comfort zone is, but you know the way to get there is full of challenges, but you take the steps moving towards your goal, despite the fear. That is courage. This last part is commitment. You showing up here is showing that you are committed to your leadership journey, right? I want to invite you to dedicate yourself to active listening. Be present fully. Not just physically, but be present fully. Find out what are the goals that I can learn through the interactions. What are the goals that I can learn so I can take my journey moving forward, right? And then what I want to invite you today is take one meaningful action beyond our session today. Who is here to take one action? At least one action, right? Because the thing is, I don't want this conversation to be like a self-help conversation. Like, what I mean by self-help is you buy books from Amazon and then you put it on the shelf and then you feel good about yourself. Hey, I'm doing something about my journey, right? Oh, I have plenty of that too, Belinda, right? Because if you only want to learn by expanding your headspace, then you can learn it on YouTube. You can learn it by listening to podcasts and then feel good about yourself that you're learning something about today. But I want to challenge you that this is not about just taking more space in your head, in your logical, in your prefrontal cortex brain, but it is about how you can learn and to take the next step. Yeah? So at the end of the conversation, what I invite you to do is to share what is the one goal, what is the one key takeaway of action that you commit to do today. How does that sound? Is that okay? Give me a thumbs up. All right, now put the thumbs together. Put the thumbs together and then the thumb wall. All right, awesome. And that last piece is it's about having fun as well, right? Because this is a lunch and learn. This is your break time. We don't want it to be more serious. Oh, Hazel, you're doing thumbs as well. Okay, do thumbs on the virtual. I want to see that. All right. The first conversation that I want to put forward is really about why this matters in terms of leadership, about why this matters from how we show up, right? Especially for culturally diverse professionals and leaders in Australia. Now, I want to put forward this. When we enter a work culture, we enter an environment that is not truly familiar to ours. I am a migrant from Indonesia. I'm a first generation migrant. So I was here, moved to Australia, to Melbourne when I was 14 years old by myself. Right? I live in a boarding house until basically live in a boarding house, live homestays, etc. Right? No families, no extended families, etc. So when I finish my master's degree, I enter a work environment that is not familiar, that have a different way of thinking, different way of interactions. How we were raised, the cultural values that is imparted through our family system and social conditioning is totally different. So there has been a gap in terms of how can I show up as a true to myself in the workplace interactions that I have. And especially my primary work experiences has been tier one global companies. Right? They have their own structures and systems and social dynamics within the work environment. I.e., if you want to call it as a workplace environment as a dominant culture and a non-dominant culture, which is ours, which is mine, right? Now, I want you to reflect on these two stories. This is coming from a case study, coming from my conversation with my clients, and names is being changed, right? So Layla is someone who is coming from South America, went to Melbourne and now to Brisbane. She was initially working as a corporate lawyer, right? She continuously doing and delivering, but a number of things happening within the social dynamics within her workplaces that her voice was suppressed, promotion passed over, and constantly proving her worth. Now, she's trying to go to the next level, become a partner within the corporate lawyer firm, but she couldn't because there's a certain glass ceiling that they accepted, right? So she's feeling exhausted and she's feeling that she's being overlooked despite the standout results. So instead of continuously doing within, trying to prove her worth within the corporate lawyer industry, she then go out and then lead her own company. Right? She's now having an expanding, growing legal practice in Brisbane, and she's building a team where diverse voices are heard and appreciated. Right? This is what happened when the non-dominant culture is being suppressed within the dominant culture, and then they take out of a journey to be more expressive with who they are being, understanding where they want to go, understanding the values that they want to create within the workplace, and then create that for their own. Who can appreciate their journey? Yeah. And then the second one is Nadia. She's migrated from Eastern Europe to Brisbane. She is now a project manager in mining, global mining industry within the technical and commercial expertise. She has continuously providing an amazing output in her work. And she's also doing a number of things outside of her work within the industry and within the company that she's in, right? But she missed promotion repeatedly despite her output and professionalism and expertise. Yeah. So now she's in the point where she's feeling exhausted because she's trying to push forward again and again and again, right? But she's not taking, now she's like, okay, I don't want to do too much. She's disengaged. She's putting ideas on the table, being suppressed, being rejected, right? She's showing up and deliver, but basically now, okay, she just perhaps instead of 110 output productivity, she's doing 60%, right? This is what happened when leaders and environment and the culture not appreciative in terms of the humanness that each of the employees and the team members bring to the table, where then this engagement become a reality. She's still producing, right? But then she's not pushing forward and putting her best self. She's putting a mask on. When she's come back to home, she's exhausted. I'm not sure about you, but I have experienced that in the past. Anyone else has experienced that in the past at all? Or is it just me? No, you have? Yeah. All right. Now, this is the basic reality for culturally and linguistically diverse professionals. In the workplaces, the senior executives are typically coming from only from the CAL professionals, only 11%, despite the fact that the population wise is 28% plus on average, and this is the difference between states, right? So what happened then is the grassroots employees and the voices are not being reflected in the leadership position. And this is not only in the professional environment, in the corporate environment, but also in social environment. Right? I went through other conversation that is happening structurally, systemizing, where non-dominant culture unable to go up to the leadership position to be able to make decision and listening in and change, making influential changes from the top. All right. Now, I'm gonna ask the question here and pause. Why having representative at the higher level matters in the working environment? Let's have a conversations about that. Anybody would like to share?
Yes, in my experience, I found in a previous employer that the hierarchy were more worried about the results than actually worrying about the people getting the results. So, rather than taking responsibility, they would pass it down onto the blue collar worker and end up just belittling and shaming. And then I resonated with your story because you end up running at 60%. Not that full capacity. I've seen it quite a lot in the area that I'm at in that central Queensland. That management don't take responsibility of their employees. They just take responsibility of the results, and it shows in the results of the company. The growth is minimal. The pressure becomes greater, and the work becomes smaller. If I could say that,
Thank you very much for that, Justin. Appreciate your share. Who resonate with that? That there's seemed to be a silo in terms of the voices between the management and the operational and the ground roots team, right? I was reading a book of leadership as language. Do I have the book yet? Oh, this one. This one. This is an amazing book. One of the ways, there's two things that came up in my mind when I was reading the book. One is if there's a highly structured and highly bureaucratic environment, because the author is a Navy background, right? He's highly structured. You can't change anything. But the way that he show up and change is through language. How can leaders be inclusive in the way that they engage their team? So instead of commanding and continuously asking the team to do, he changed his language to incorporate thinking from the team level, right? So what I'm trying to say is this: it's not about everyone needs to become a leader at the highest level. It's not about that. It's about how can leaders be more incorporative to the team that they lead, to the environment that they lead, in the way that just use one is how we show up every single day, how we use language to inspire others, right? So in the book he said there's a red red task, which is the doing, the operational deliveries, and the blue task, which is the thinking. It's not about creating more of that. It's about how the two can communicate, can invite each other to think outside the box and inspire one another. And then so everyone in the environment, in the working environment wins. Right? Hopefully that makes sense. Anybody, Miranda, welcome. Sorry, I didn't see that you were at the lobby, and then I just saw I admitted your note taker, your secretary, but I didn't even put you in. Apologies.
Oh, good. Thanks, Sidki. Thanks for having me here.
You're most welcome. And type in the chat as well where you're dialing in from. All right, Belinda.
Oh, hi, Siki. Great conversation. It reminds me of the time I had a senior leadership position, and I was actually in the role and as a general manager for a country manager. So I'd been asked to do this role overseas. So myself as Australian moved to another country to do this, and the company I worked for, had businesses all over the world. And so essentially I'm not, I'm not the local, and the team, even though I had 30 years of experience, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. 30 years working with that exact company, doing all the things that they knew. I could teach them how to make more money and to grow, exponentially. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. I wasn't a local. And they wanted to know why the company needed to send an Aussie to that country to teach them how to do something that they probably already knew how to do. And so that endurance of that, and my kids going to school, same thing. To understand, they had to go through all of these challenges as well. And I probably found it a lot less than my family because I was the leader. And so not many people were going to confront me as much about those things. But my family got the understanding of it first and made me aware. And then I started listening. And I realized that, people are afraid of what they don't know. And they, the most important thing was to build trust with the team. And I just had to endure and build trust. And so that was my number one book, my shelf help was The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey. I had to build trust with that team. It was the only way through. There was no way over it. There was only a way through it. And so sort of enduring that. And I feel for my family who went through that, and I feel for anyone, who has to deal with those challenges of being I guess, immigrating to a different country or changing that. And we felt it as well. And if I can say this very openly, I believed the country I went to was an English-speaking country full of people who looked just like me. And it did not matter. It did not matter.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Belinda. Who's appreciate Belinda's share earlier that one of the things that came out to my mind is the model from John C. Maxwell, the 5 levels of leadership. The first level of leadership is a leadership by position. Whether you're being awarded that position and being promoted that position, or you take yourself in a journey to become that, i.e., you take yourself on a journey to become a business owner, right? So that's leadership by title. But the second level of leadership is if you want to grow from that positional leadership by title, you go to the second level, which is relationship based. Because people will ask you, can I trust you as a leader? Right? This is one of the questions that I ask, because it doesn't matter whether you look the same or not, but why are you coming from Australia to teach them about something that they already know? Right? Can I trust you to lead us? Do you care about me as a person, as a human being? Right? This is where the relationship based on trust is very key to nurture that, to then extract or excavate the high performance from the team that you lead. This is before you go into the critical conversations, which is the level 3. The critical conversation is about how you can, how you can increase the productivity of the team through the critical conversation, right? That's one of the model that I absolutely love about. So now my invitation to you, for everyone here in the room, because you are a leader, focus on how you can build relationship with your team to show that you care about the team that you lead. And by what I mean by relationship focus is not just about you having a good water cooler conversation, a coffee chat conversation. That's not about that. It is about, do you care enough about the human being behind the role that behind the role that they are being hired to? It's about moving from a water cooler conversations and social relationship conversations or bar conversation, whatever it is, to have a mentoring and coaching conversation, to understand who they are and how you can elevate them in the work that they do, right? It's about, do you spend time to understand when you walk in to your office, to your team, to your floor, wherever that may be, are you tuned enough to understand about what is going on, the energy that is in between the team members, the environment? Because culture is a felt experience. Yeah, culture is not about the things that you say on your website. Okay, thank you very much for that, Belinda, for your share. V, what do you have?
Thank you so much. So I have, coming from South Africa to New Zealand, I have two perspectives here. The one was as a change manager practicing in South Africa, where there's a lot of diverse cultures, and having to get people to go from one state to another state of being. You could not really apply the same methodology across the sections because you had to first understand the culture, how people absorb information, what's important to them. There's, for instance, for me as a South African woman, when I come into a room, it's a show of respect if men get out of their seats when you come into the room. For people of other cultures, it's again, if their head is higher than yours, it's a disrespect. So if you do not know it, the conversation that goes on with the nonverbal conversation is one of disrespect and respect. So it's really important to understand that culture. Yes. And then, as Belinda also said, immigrating to New Zealand, where I thought, okay, we all look the same. We sort of like talk the same language. This should be easy. No way. We might look the same, totally different. I actually here to be able to do my job as a change manager had to go to a business coach to just tell me about how do people absorb information here? How do I get my message across? That was just my contribution.
Amazing contribution. Thank you very much, V. And this is what I can one of the point that I gained from these conversations, right, from V's share, that whenever you entering a new workplace, a new environment, a new business, everyone has their own lingo, their own culture. Say, for example, I work from one global mining company to the next one, which is the biggest competitor. It's totally different culture. One is colder, the other one is warmer, right? The way that people do things are different, even though it's the same city and they're just almost like few blocks from one another, right? Because again, culture is being determined by how the leaders show up, how each individuals within the team show up. Yeah. So this is where you, for example, if you are a team leader, Albert, and anyone else is in the room, that understanding the values The values is what is the important thing that you want to uphold within the culture, within your team, that you can influence, that you want to uphold. Say, for example, if you want to say to yourself, to your team, in your business that you in your business that you want to protect a culture of care, right? Make that as a visible cultural statement, right? And then ask yourself and ask the team that you lead, what is care means for you? How does it look like? For some people, means that, hey, I got your back, right? If you are being swamped under with work, tell me, and then I can help you. For some people, it looks different, right? So one point from this is and thank you very much again for all your contributions. Highly appreciate that. And one thing that I want to highlight from this is the risk of staying invincible, the risk of not bringing your full self, that there is a process that will lead to significant event. What I mean by that is from the previous exit conversation is when the self-critical voice is being amplified, there's a potential for a sabotage spiral, which is there's going to be a regression. There's going to be low quality problems. There's going to be disengagement, right? Because you feel like you're not being appreciated for your total being, for your who you are full self, right? And in the end, there's going to be, from the disengagement, there's going to be performance issues. And then either there's a termination or there is an exit. Like my second example. And then sooner or later, either that she is going to feel burnt out, right? Or she's going to exit. But the primary thing is focusing on ourself, understanding who we are being. So let's go to the next page. Oops, sorry. Oops. I like this one from Brian Tracy. To be a leader, you must first be the master of your own life. How can we expect other people to follow us as a leader if we don't even master our own life? Right? Who can appreciate that? Yeah, totally. All right. Let's have this conversation in terms of the 3 pillars to self-leadership. And this is going to be, we're going to do it an exercise, but I want to spend 3 minutes just on this one. Clarity. The first one is clarity of purpose. Influential leaders understand the deeper meaning behind their work. To understand why you do what you do. Because this purpose fuels your every single day. I want you to see purpose. It's like a fire that is being ignited on a firewood, right? On a fire pit. That is your purpose. The one that gets you up in the morning, that excites you. The one that, despite the challenges that you have in your workplace, in your business, whatever the case may be, you continuously to move forward. Because it ignites you, it's passion you, right? Now, it can be a grand vision that you have a bigger vision in your mind, or it can also be a personal mission. My mission, for example, within the growth table is to embed human-centered culture in high-performing teams. What I mean by embedding human-centered culture is where people feel appreciated when they're going into the workplace. High-performing is not only about achieving KPIs and SLAs and everything else, but it's about how you're taking care of one another, right? Or it can be a personal mission. I want to mentor the next generations of engineers to lead with integrity. I want to lead the next generations of supply chain professionals to lead with integrity. I want to lead the next generations of tradies to become the leaders with integrity and honesty, right? Whatever the case may be. But when I want, this is going to be the next piece. I want you to find 2 minutes to reflect what is your mission through your business. because your business or your team or whatever the profession that you do is a vehicle for you to become the best leader that you can be. Right? Whatever that you're doing is a vehicle. It's a mission. See that as a mission, not just to put food on the table. That is important, yes. But take yourself to a higher level and see what is the things that I use this as a purposeful life, right? So the next piece is the direction. Because leadership is more than just a job title. Ask yourself this question. Where are you taking this leadership journey to? I want to invite you to pause and reflect that we're going to have this conversation again in 6 to 12 months' time. And the first thing that you say to me in your share is, say, for example, Anthony will open up the conversation and says, "Oh my God, Sid, the last 6 to 12 months has been amazing. I have created such a beautiful team that everyone works amazingly together. We have our challenges, we hit our KPIs and all that kind of stuff, but everyone is engaged." I want you to see that as if that is a reality, and I want you to show up today as if that is who you are being today. Okay? So that is the direction. The third piece is values. As I mentioned earlier, values is your core, is your code. Yeah. What you will do and what you won't do. Say, for example, I mentioned earlier, if curiosity is your core value, then you will bring in that curiosity conversation every single time through the interaction that you have. If family is your core value, then you will also filter family time through making that decision and boundaries. Say, for example, Albert, can you do XYZ on the weekend? Sorry, I time block my Saturday for my family time. I can do it on Saturday, I can do Sunday, but not on that XYZ, right? Or you're going to be applying for a new job, for example, right? But then it requires you to travel globally, travel interstates and all that, which is going to reduce the time with your family. You said, no, unfortunately, I can't do that because I have my family. It's a growing family, etc. Right? It's a guiding compass for you. Okay? Now, this is a self-reflection exercise. Just for the next 3 minutes, I want to invite you to choose a prompt, just one, either from, because we only have a small time today, either from purpose, from directions, or values. And spend for the next 3 minutes, or how, the next 3 minutes to do a self-reflection exercise. Ask yourself this question. Why do I lead? What is the impact that I want my leadership to have? Find a prompt that resonates with you the most, and we'll come back in 2 to 3 minutes. Is that okay? Just give me a thumbs up if that's good to go. All right, beautiful. All right, I'll leave you for 3 minutes and then we'll come back. Unfortunately, I have a song and I can't sing. All right, I'll be back. And please spend time on your own to reflect. Beautiful. Thank you very much. 15 seconds, and then we'll jump on shares. All right. Anybody would like to share? I wanna address something. Yes, I can't sing. I won't sing. No, I need to have a little $2 coin, Belinda NV. Put it in, start dancing.
I'm happy to share the lead, Sidki.
Yes, of course.
Okay, awesome. Hey everyone, my name's Anthony. I'm from No Borders Law Group. I work in the migration team in sort of a consulting business development role. So I guess when Sidki prompted me, why do I lead? I guess it just comes naturally to me. I grew up doing a lot of sports coaching, just helping out with youth basketball and whatnot. So I think it's just very ingrained in just the way I approach life. When I started this role, there was another colleague of mine who had started maybe a month or two before, and he just was just for whatever reason like really struggling. So I put him aside, did a little bit of sales coaching with him, role play with him, and now he's really thriving. And it's really great to see because there was another colleague who kind of had the opposite approach. He kind of wanted him to fail because basically he'd get more leads or whatever silly kind of thought he had in his mind. So even though it's not like my direct, I guess, responsibility, it's just something I can't really help. So because of that experience, I really do want to put myself into like a management position, like a sales manager, sales trainer role, more involved with the business because I think leverages my skill set.
I love that. I love that, Anthony, and I love the contrast that you bring in. One of the thing that came up to my mind is your quality as a leader, which is one, as we step into the leadership position, it is no longer about us, right? We tend to stay back in the background in terms of we are amplifying others to lead more, to thrive more, right? And we are becoming the supportive position to that, right?
Yeah.
We walk alongside them. So kudos to you. Amazing traits to have and continuously flourishing, man. Appreciate you share. Lovely. Anyone else? Belinda or V first? V. Let's go.
Thank you so much. So I have chosen values, and which value from my culture, and it's to be open and honest, straight talk. So it's talk to me, don't talk about me. It is having the difficult conversations, but not confrontational, the honest conversations, and that I found to be very jarring when I first arrived here. Yeah, but I have to say, in the environments that I have worked, it was with consistency and guiding that it's non-confrontational that eventually they come across and understand.
Yeah. And thank you very much for that share, V. The one that came up to my mind is how can we set that standard of being able to hold critical conversations, because critical conversations is always going to be there, and then pre-framing it as a standard. Say, for example, this can be on your personal and in personal relationships or professional relationships, right? Pre-framing it in terms of, hey, let's have a critical conversation. We'll have a challenging conversation. Let's have a difficult conversation. Let's put everything on the table, but using the language of courage, compassion, and then set a standard that if it's going to be overly confrontational and emotional space, let's take a break. Right? So understanding where's the limit, and then understanding, okay, we need to take a break. Right? Because sometimes people in that situations will be emotive, expressive, right? And then you can't control that, but then you can control in terms of the standard that you set for the room. Thank you very much for sharing that. Any one last share before we move on, and perhaps wrap up as well? Belinda?
I just popped into the chat. I think I can be better. I think with the direction for where I am as a leader after experiencing what I experienced. So maybe
Mm.
today has reminded me of how many people are on that journey. And because I'm back in Australia and I'm not in New Zealand anymore. So the reality is it's happening sort of, everywhere around us. And I can be better. I can definitely be better. I can definitely hold the hand of other people in my occupation and help them grow and be
Mm.
accepting and find their voices even better. And I feel like I
Mm.
do it, but I can be better at it.
I love that. I love that. Who agrees with that? That every single day we are in the journey to get better as a leader. I want you to see leadership is not an outcome, it's not a destination, it is a journey, right? So, what that means is you never arrive to become the best leader that you can be. You're continuously progressing yourself every single day. One degree of change that you committed to do today will eventually leads you to a different destination in 365 days. Progress beats perfection. You can never arrive at perfection because you're always going to see that one piece of pixel that you can try to perfect. Focus on progress. Focus on how you can show up today, tomorrow, for your team, for yourself, to become a better leader. Right? Anybody would like to share? We have 7 minutes left. Justin, come on down.
Yeah. Hey guys. Hey, I found it very interesting. Like I took on purpose. Um, we were talking earlier about even being in different environments, cultures that it could be as simple as a language breakdown environment. But in the journey that I'm on with ICI, I found it's very interesting on how it's all starts with self. And I think if I could ever live my true purpose, it'd have to be to sharing a culture of connection. I thought that everyone, and we deal with it for all the webinars, that we all in some depth varies, have issues, but one thing we all crave is connection. And whether that's a connection just to know a complete stranger, connection with a loved one, a child, or whatever. And I think if we always resonate and keep that in the back of our minds, that the most important thing that we can create, no matter where we are on the leaderboard, as we find many businesses actually are eradicating titles, that the connection that we should make between individuals is the most important thing, because
I
it's
love
only
that.
when we feel connected do we have that growth. And to create a working environment where we can leave the mask at the door, and bring our authentic core self. I mean, is that not what we all strive for? To actually look forward to going to work,
Yeah, I love that. I love that, Justin. Appreciate you. That again, that's the one that came up to my mind, that connection piece. I was reading a book. Again, I've been reading a lot of books in the past few weeks. I've been reading a book on meaningful work. There's 3 pieces on how you can create meaningful work in your environment, in our working environment.
Yeah.
The first one is community, which is connection.
Yeah.
How you can create connection that is genuine connection between you and your team and your leaders, whomever that may be around you. Right? Because again, when we go to work, we tend to wear masks.
Yeah, 100%.
And then create any separations of this is who I am being, and then create a certain persona in workplaces. But you forget about the community side. When you create a community in your workplace where everyone feels seen, valued, and heard, then that will create a community or workplaces that is highly engaging. When you have a highly engaged team, then you have a higher productivity output, because highly engaged team will contribute more than we're asking to do.
Yeah.
Highly engaged team will stay more longer than disengaged team members. Disengaged team members will spend their time on lunchtime to update their CVs and then ask themselves, where can I go next?
Yeah.
Right? Highly disengaged team members will go home tired, and the next day they're like, oh my God, not here again. Right? Who can appreciate that? I've been to that.
Yeah.
So create a community. The second piece of that, the 3 C's, is contribution. That there's something more than just about the contribution that you have into team, but what is the work that you do? Say, for example, again, when I was in procurement, what is the work that you do is impacting the whole ecosystem within the business. Contribution. Can you see outside of your work that your work is impacting positively to the other team's output? And the last one is growth. Can you see yourself growing continuously, professionally, personally, every single day? That's how you create meaningful work. Beautiful. All right. We have 3 minutes left. The last one here, again, my call out today. This is a leadership strategy call, limited offer for 3 people only. If you are wanting to have a conversations in terms of how can I support you in leadership journey, or simply about, look, I have certain challenges in my workplace, I would like to have some strategy calls with you on how we can move forward, right? I will send a link on the chat. This is open for anyone who feel they need some support, or I can support you further in your journey. This is a complimentary session for 45 minutes. We'll have a clarity on your situations and have more clarity in terms of where you want to go in your journey, right, as a leader, and then how I can best support you in that, or at least you will get out with some strategies on how you can move forward with that. Beautiful. All right, time for a last share. Nopia, you just jump on. Would you like to share anything, man?
Oh, no.
You can't get away. You can't run away, man.
Specifically to anything like
to anything that is coming up for you. One action, one key point, one insights, anything that you like to put on the table.
I think it is nice, especially with what you mentioned before. Like my focus is obviously in like we caught up recently. My focus is in branding and marketing, and at the start you said something that really hit the ball out of the park. And your culture is not something that you say on a website. And like from a branding and marketing perspective, like we talk about communicating values and culture, and it's not just about saying it, but it's actually about you said that it is a lived experience.
Yes.
So to really look at what do people feel like us as ourselves, and also the team, what is everyone kind of like feeling, what's everyone more or less going through in a sense, engaging the culture and the workplace in that scenario. So it's really good for you to highlight and just to attune my perspective to really focus on that experiential value or culture that's existing in the workplace. For myself, like within our team, because we're a creative team, just being very collaborative and open with each other, allowing us to have that creative freedom to feel seen, heard, and valued, to contribute to these the projects and the tasks that we have that we're working on together, I guess.
Beautiful.
Thank you for that, Brother Sidki.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Okay. I'm going to stay on for another few minutes if you need to jump off. I know we 12 to 1, but I'm more than happy to have to stay on to have a further conversations. Thank you very much, Hazel. Appreciate you. Would you like to jump off and jump on the audio and then share what you shared on the comment? Thank you, Brother Imran. I can hear you very subtle.
Awesome. Oh, okay, cool.
There you go.
I guess, well, being Asian, I guess, like I mentioned in the comment, I was very used to being brought up with that top-down management culture where pretty much the manager or the boss, whatever they say, you just have to do. Like we don't get to voice out our opinions or comments, anything like that. But I realized that with moving to Australia, adapting the overseas culture, I really appreciate that everyone actually gets to speak their mind, obviously with respect and within contact. I guess what I want to share.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful share. Thank you very much. Yeah, coming from Asia myself, I can really resonate with that as well. But then it can sometimes be, a challenging situation to navigate, right? We want to be respectful, but how can you display that to communication in different ways? Beautiful. All right. Anyone else? Any final share before we closed off?
I was just going to share that I really loved your language around the feeling seen, heard, and valued, and that's really at the core of what we need to do as leaders is to make sure that our people are feeling seen, heard, valued, understood, because it's like a key that opens the door to magical things.
It is.
When that starts to happen, particularly at a collective level across not just a team but entire workplace, things really start to shift. It's not enough for some people to feel that way. Everyone needs and deserves to feel that way. And when I reflect on my own journey as an aspiring leader when I was younger and not feeling like that, and the impact that had on me was significant. And when I contrast that to a workplace where I felt 100% seen, heard, valued, understood from my very first day to my very last day, completely different experiences, not just for me, but in terms of what I put in.
Yeah, totally. When you're feeling valued because of the humanness that you bring, then you're going to contribute, right? Again, I read another book. I hope that's okay. Now I can't remember which book that I read, but there was a research that he conducted across different corporations. This is in North America. He said there's one particular organization, in one particular silo of the organizations in one department, where the score of the output and productivity and the score of the engagement is higher than everyone else. So then the author and the researcher go to the leader of that particular team and ask, what do you do differently? Can you teach all the others, department managers, what do you do differently? And then she said, what I don't do anything different in terms of I just see my team as human beings. So what I do differently is, for example, she said, on a weekly basis in that team catch up, she will ask what is the challenges that they're facing personally, professionally, right? And then we make note of that. So then she created a human picture about their team members. And then 7 days later, a week later, whenever they bump into one another, they will ask, how did you go about your challenges? Did you go okay? How did you go about your, you said you're going to move house. How did you go about that? Whatever it is, right? So my invitation to you, as you are a leader and you are leading a team, spend time to understand what makes your team tick. Understand the humanness behind the role, understand the humanness behind the face and the person that you engage with every single day. And that how you can create a high performing team with a human centered culture in your business. Good. All right. That's all. I look forward. So the next one I'll be running in 2 weeks in regards to decoding team dynamics through extended disk. I will be running that in 2 weeks' time. I will put forward that in the in my socials, and also emails invitation will come out. All right. And there's another one for a face-to-face, which is Leadership Unplug, that is currently happening on Sundays at 7 a.m. But there's a few people approaching me asking whether I can do it on weekdays. So I'll probably going to launch a date that is going to be open for weekdays. And the Leadership Unplug is slightly different, which is I'm going to curate around 4 to 5 people maximum to have a coffee chat conversation, bring in what are the challenges that they have and what are the dreams that they have. And then we have a conversation, different conversation about that and how we can help you to move forward with your challenges and your dreams and everything else in between. All right. So check out your email on my socials as well. I look forward to connect with you on the next conversation. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate you. Have a good day.